Hate reading? This AI can turn anything into a podcast for you. Think about all those critical, mind-numbing, dull documents, service agreements, research papers, and project briefs. You know you should read them, but you never do. What if you could conquer all those documents on a commute, while you're in the gym, or walking the dog? In this video, I'm going to give you a complete walkthrough, but more importantly, I'm going to show you a hidden feature in the audio tool that most people don't know about yet. This tool lets you customize the podcast that gets produced for you. You do all this through NotebookLM. So without further ado, let's get going. So here we are on the NotebookLM homepage. This is the tool we're going to use to create that podcast that I've told you about, and I'm going to show you that a bit later on. First off, you need to know how to use NotebookLM, otherwise you're not going to be able to create the podcast. So once you're on the NotebookLM homepage at notebooklm.google.com, you'll see this. If it's the first time you've ever used the service, you might see a promotional splash page that you have to get past. But once you've got past that, this is your homepage. It's going to list any notebooks you've already created and give you a nice clear button to create a new NotebookLM. I'm going to use this one called Panda Chocolate Bars. If you watched my previous video, you'll know that I was working on creating a brand called Panda Chocolates, which is a mixture of brown and white chocolates in the shape of a panda that's going to be targeted at children. Today we're going to work on the marketing strategy, so I'm going to use NotebookLM for that. Now, why am I using NotebookLM? Because NotebookLM gives me responses based on the sources I've provided. So unlike ChatGPT and Gemini, which will go out and give you sources from the internet as a whole, this is only going to give me responses based on the sources I've provided. So as soon as you've got into a notebook, you'll see there's three sections to this. You've got your sources down the left-hand side, you've got your chat area where you interact, and then you've got your studio on the right-hand side. Now, to add sources, it's really simple to do. All you need to do is click add, and then sources can come from many different areas. They can come from your computer. You can upload files like PDFs, audio, or images. You can insert Google Docs or Google Slides. You can't do Google Sheets yet. Hopefully that will come soon, but for the workaround on that at the moment is I found if you print a Google Sheet as a PDF, you can then upload it as a PDF from your computer into NotebookLM. You can add websites, and you can add YouTube videos and copy text. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add an extra source to this because I have got a Google Doc that I want to add. So I click on Google Docs and it's just come up, and this is the one I want. It's a UK chocolate marketing report that I've created using Gemini. So as soon as you insert something, it appears on the left-hand side. If you want to add more sources, you just click on add again. Some things you need to know about sources here. So I'm going to add a website source, and I'm going to add a YouTube source. So I'm going to add a website source for Cadbury because they are like the world leading chocolate provider ever. I love Cadbury's chocolate. Hit insert, so that's adding a web page to it here. And I'm also going to add a video about marketing chocolates. So I found this one about how Cadbury manipulated our minds with its genius marketing strategy. So that sounds like a really good video that's going to be really useful for us and Panda Chocolates. So I'm going to get the share button from that. Go back here, click add sources, and add the YouTube video as well. So there I've got a good selection of sources from different places. One thing you need to know about sources are when you add a source, NotebookLM takes a snapshot of that source at that time that you've added it. This has some considerations for you. So if you've added a file from Google Drive, that's okay in that you can update the file. So say, for example, this chocolate marketing report that I've just added gets updated in a week's time. NotebookLM won't know about that, but if I click on the file on the source, you can see in the top left-hand corner, I get the option to click to sync with Google Drive. So if it has changed, I can click on that and it'll import the latest version of that file automatically into NotebookLM. But for anything else, like a website or a YouTube video, it won't know if that's changed. Now, a YouTube video is very unlikely to change. It's just going to disappear off the internet. Someone's going to remove it. You can't actually change a YouTube video. So with the YouTube video, you don't have to do that. The YouTube video, for its source, it actually takes the transcript from the YouTube video and uses that as the source. But for a website, especially something like Wikipedia, in a month's time, there's a good chance that website's going to be different to the version that I've given NotebookLM at the moment. If that has changed, what you do need to do is you've got to remove the source, and then you've got to re-add the source so it takes a new snapshot. Hopefully at some point they'll bring a button out that says update and it will go and check. But at the moment for websites, you do have to remove them and re-add them. So once you've got your sources in place, these are the two areas that you're really going to focus on now. You've got your chat area, and then you've got the studio with the audio overview, which I'm going to show you a bit later on of how to use. First off, we need to start doing some interactions with our documents. So I've got a little prompt that I'm going to stick in here. It's actually the same prompt that's written down here, but I'm going to post it in. How will Panda Chocolates differentiate itself and compete effectively in the UK market? So I'm going to send that through. So what's happening now is NotebookLM is looking through these sources on the left hand side, and it's going to come back with a response. As you can see, it's coming back pretty damn quickly. That was. Now, this is the real nice part about NotebookLM. After every single response it gives back, it has a number after it, and these numbers represent the sources that it's got the information from. So say, for example, if I was to hover over number 4, that's giving me a snapshot of where it got the information from on the left hand side. If I click on number 4, it's going to open the actual document, so I can see that it got it from the online marketing outline panda chocolate bars document from our Google Drive, and this is the section that it took that information from to bring back that response. So you can always verify where the information came from, which is really key on using AI, because of hallucinations very unlikely to happen inside NotebookLM because it's only working from a very small amount of information, but you do have that option to double check it. Now, there's one really important thing to remember about this chat area here. This chat area, when you close a NotebookLM and reopen it, isn't saved. So if it's giving you an answer back that you want to keep hold of, that's very important for you, you need to scroll down to the bottom of the answer, assuming you've read it as well, and then you click Save to Note. Whenever you hit Save to Note, it will save it on the right hand side here under this note section, so you can get back to it in the future. I've actually run this prompt before, so that's why I've got two that are almost exactly the same. I'm going to refresh the chat now. So when you hit the refresh the chat, it clears the chat history, so this is the same as if you were to close it. You'll see there's nothing there, but if I were to click on the note that I've just saved, that answer has reappeared on the right hand side, so it's saved there, and I can use that again in the future. You can also convert a note to a source. I don't really do this because it's sort of doubling up on the source you've already got, because this answer came from the sources on the left hand side. But if it is a unique answer that's given back to you that you want to convert to a source, you can convert it to a source, and then that note will also be used in future chats that you have with NotebookLM. Now, here we go. We've got another feature down here. We've got the audio overview. Going to show you that in a bit, but you still need to know some other things. We've got My Map. My Map is absolutely fantastic. It's really good for terms and conditions. So I've got into a bit of hobby at the moment, uploading terms and conditions to services I've agreed to into NotebookLM, then using the My Map to find out how screwed I am, what I've agreed to that I haven't known because I didn't bother reading it. I should really start asking NotebookLM questions about those services before I sign them. My Map is really fantastic because it breaks everything down. So it's created that My Map. So I'm going to click on there, and it's done a comprehensive history of Cadbury, because that's the information that's in there that's most dominant, I'd imagine. I'm not 100% sure why it hasn't got anything else in there, but here's a good example of the My Map. So I imagine it's taken this from the video and the Wikipedia article. So we can just go in there and we can expand this, and we can have a great look down into Cadbury's and what they do and their advertising. Here's the famous Gorilla campaign. And we can actually click on this and it will go back and give an answer. So discuss the 3 sources, say about Phil Collins' In the Air Tonight, which was part of that famous Gorilla advertising campaign, which basically saved the company. There you go. So that answer's come back, and I can always pop back into the My Map. And with these My Maps, you can actually print them, save them. So you can hit on this button and it will save it onto your computer, saved as a JPEG. So you have to expand it to where you want it to be. And then you can hit the save button and that will be downloaded onto your computer. Talking about sources, you can actually turn sources on and off. So if I didn't want it to speak about Cadbury, in that I could have turned off this item by just putting a tick next to it. So any source you've got here, you put a tick next to it and that gets removed. And it means the next question that I ask or the next My Map that I generate won't have those 2 sources in it to reference it. So if I were to do a My Map now, I'll try that now actually, it should just do a My Map based on the 3 sources I have rather than the Cadbury's one dominating the whole thing. So we'll just do that quickly, and it's going to generate another My Map on the right hand side. Shouldn't take too long, and hopefully it should just be about these 3 sources. If it isn't, it's really messed my video up. Because it's not done what I expected. And this is the one thing with AI, when you're doing a video like this, it can sometimes not do what you're expecting, but it has. It looks like it has by the title. So let's click on there. So chocolate bar, child chocolate bar, market analysis, which is exactly what I wanted. And if we go through there, we can expand these and have a look through. And that's absolutely superb. Very easy to find the information and data you want. So this is about sugar and calories, how we're going to address those. And I just tap on it and it puts the question into the chat window and it will come back. You've got a few other options in the notes sections, and then I will show you the audio overview It's absolutely, actually, I'll tell you what, I'm going to show you the audio overview now because it will take a bit of time to generate. And in the meantime, I can show you these other features. To create this podcast, you'll see on the right-hand side, you've got this section called audio overview. You also have an option on the chat here to do an audio overview, but I prefer to do it on the right-hand side because it gives you this option to customize. And this is the thing that people don't know about. Well, they don't know about the audio overview to start off with, but the customize is the thing that allows you to customize what the podcast is that's produced for you. If I hit generate now, all it's going to do is generate a podcast based on the sources that I've got on the left-hand side enabled. So I'm going to enable them all. But it's got no direction. So you haven't really told it what to do. It's going to be a decent podcast, to be fair, but it's not got the direction in there. And because I'm focusing on marketing, I want to give some customization to this. So it's based on what I want, because I want to listen to this when I'm in the car driving along. So I'm going to hit on customize, and then I'm going to put a prompt in here. So I put a prompt in here that I want them to focus on the emerging marketing trends with chocolate bars within the UK. And I want to learn what's currently in fashion and has been successful for other brands and what pitfalls they've come across as I plan to do our own marketing strategy for Panda chocolates. Also at the top here, you've got an option. You can just make it longer, default length or shorter. Default length can range from anything from 5 minutes up to, I think about like 20 minutes is the longest. I haven't done longer and I haven't really done shorter. I find defaults just smack on. Once you put your prompt in there, hit generate, and that's now going to start generating the podcast for you. So while it's doing that, we've got a couple of other features down here on the right hand side that are built in. So you've got a study guide, a briefing doc, a timeline, and an FAQ. So these are really kind of cool. The study document is fantastic if you are using it for studying. So for example, we have an accountant as one of our clients, and they go through, as you can imagine, quite a few exams, and they've been uploading their revision papers into NotebookLM, clicking study guide like I've just done, and it's come back with a study guide for them to follow to get the most out of the sources they've had. And it's been a great success for them. They were using ChatGPT before, but they've now moved over to NotebookLM for this, and they say NotebookLM is far better because it is just using the sources they provided. So here's the study guide that's come up. So it's given a quiz at the start, so of some fundamental stuff about Cadbury, and then it's given the answers below. Easy essay format questions it's given, and a glossary of key terms. So that very easy way to get a study guide done for you. Let's pop back out. Briefing doc. This is really handy. I'm going to turn off Cadbury on the left because that seems to be dominating everything at the moment, that Wikipedia article, and I really wanted to focus on our Panda chocolates. A briefing doc is a great way to create a briefing doc, an executive overview, which you can then edit and change and do what you want. You can export it into a Google Doc by just copying and pasting it to a Google Doc. So if you need to create a briefing doc quickly for yourself or for somebody else, this is the way to do it. But maybe the audio podcast might be the best way of doing it, sharing that out with people afterwards. So it's just going to create that briefing doc, and then in a few seconds we'll have that and we can have a look through that.
A few moments later.
So here we go. It took a few seconds longer, and here's the briefing document. As you can see, perfectly laid out. You've got your executive overview at the top, and then you've got all your key points down here, strategies, all that kind of stuff from UK Chocolate Bar Marketing Dynamics. And with this document, there isn't a button in NotebookLM to convert this immediately into a Google Doc. You do need to copy and paste this into a Google Doc, and then you can share it out with people that way. Again, you can also convert it to a source. And then we've got the final two options. An FAQ, so it's just going to go through your sources and work out what people are most likely going to ask about and create an FAQ for you. This is really good if your sources were like about a service. If you on your website, you've got a list of services you offer, you could put them all in as sources, those separate web pages, and get it to create an FAQ for you. And it's going to be giving questions that people are most likely going to ask about your services, and you might be able to copy and paste that into your website and have an FAQ available for customers. So there's the FAQ. It's just come back with the most likely questions people are going to ask with the answers there. You can't modify that, so if you can't give it a prompt beforehand, you just have to FAQ, and this is just purely NotebookLM and its AI working out what's the best for you on any of these. And then timeline. With timeline, we probably should turn on the Cadbury one for this and turn off the other sources, just because I imagine the Wikipedia is going to have a very good timeline of the history of Cadbury, and it's going to give the best example of what timeline does. So that's why it's important to be able to turn your sources on and off so that you can get the best results back based on your knowledge of the documents and which ones are going to be the most relevant for what you're doing. So here we go. Here's the timeline. There you go. There's the history of Cadbury all dated out. It's a timeline. It's a very good timeline. It's a very detailed timeline. So there you go. If you want to do that for anything that you've got a history of, you can do that quickly with NotebookLM. Now you can see that our podcast is now ready. But before we do that, I'm going to show you a couple more features. Yeah, I'm going to keep teasing you on this one, but you're going to love it when you see it. So one thing you can do on here is you can share your NotebookLM with your colleagues. So if you hit the share button, it's just like a Google document. You just type in the email address of the people you want to share. You can pick their level of access if they're a viewer or editor. If you're on Google Workspace, you can only share these internally at the moment. If you're using a Google Gmail consumer account, you can share this with everybody now. It's just rolled out, that feature has. You've got a welcome note on here, so if it's about something specific, you can tell people what to use this note, how they should use this notebook and what it's for. And this is a really important part. You can change the level of access they have to the notebook. So full notebook means that they can do everything you can do essentially on the notebook, especially if you give them editor access. But the best one is to give them chat only. So when you give them chat only, they can't see the sources down the left-hand side and they can't see the notes that you've created. They can only chat and interact based on it. And I think that's probably the best option for most people to do that. And you can hit the preview button to see what it's like. You can always come in here and change it anyway whenever you want to. Once you've done that, you can hit the save button and it will send a link, or you can copy the link and share that link with the people that you've shared it with. You also have an analytics tool up here, so you can see if people have actually been using your NotebookLM. You've got some settings that you can change around on here, like the output language and the devices and stuff like that, but not too many features in the settings. And now we've come to the main event, the audio overview. So it's created a podcast that we can listen to now. It's also got another feature that's absolutely fantastic that I think you are going to enjoy very much. So if I hit the play button, hopefully you should be able to hear this.
All right, settle in. Because today
Podcast.
we're diving into something.
Saves you for a bit.
Children's specialized chocolate is
So they're now talking about the sources that I provided.
spot on.
But you might see something on this desktop mode. I've got a thing called interactive mode.
Can't
If I press this button,
landscape that's
I can talk to these
rapidly
folks.
chasing the market.
I can give them a guidance. I can say, actually, I want you to talk a bit more about this rather than that. And they'll interact with you and they will talk about that kind of stuff. And then once they finish talking about it, they'll return back to the podcast. It's very much like dialing in to a radio station, the way they act. They'll say, oh, I've got someone on the line. And you just talk to them. And they will listen, and then they will go off and respond back to you. And then they will come back round to continuing the podcast here. Now, I can't show you it because my microphone's been used to record the video and it can't do two audio at the same time, but I recommend you go on NotebookLM and give that a go. It's really, really damn fantastic, and I think you'll enjoy it very, very much. And if you do like the podcast, you can hit the three buttons in the top right-hand corner and hit download. You can also hit delete to regenerate a new podcast. So if it isn't quite what you wanted, you can hit delete, that will go away, and then you can regenerate a different podcast and give it a different prompt if it wasn't quite what you wanted. But the one thing you should really do before you do that is save it, because once you hit delete, it's gone. You're not going to get that podcast back. So if you're not 100% sure if it's good or not, and you want to generate another one just to contrast and compare, hit the download button first and just save this podcast to your computer before you then go and hit delete and regenerate a new podcast. Okay, you might now be thinking, that's great, James, I've got a podcast, but how do I listen to that in my car? You've only shown me on the desktop. Well, this is it. NotebookLM has an app for your mobile phone. So if you go onto your mobile phone with the NotebookLM app, you'll see that I have now got at the top that chocolate bar, NotebookLM. If I click on there, I can tap on the audio overview and I can hit the play button. I've also got the interact mode, so I can interact with the podcast as I'm driving along. I just hit the play button. It'll take a bit of time to load up. As you can see, it says 10 to 20 seconds to load up. Once it's loaded up, this podcast will play through my mobile phone. And if my mobile phone is connected to my car via Bluetooth or any other way, you're going to be able to hear it while you're driving along, while you're at the gym, and while you're on that commute.
Because today we're diving into something
Right into it.
truly sweet.
If you found that interesting and you enjoyed this video, do give us a subscribe. I'm James and I'm the owner of Kimbley IT, and we specialize in Google Workspace, moving companies from legacy old Microsoft solutions to Google Workspace. And we have loads of features and functionalities and knowledge about these services that we can share with you, but only if you partner with us. So if you are interested in that, there's a link below where you can book a 15-minute video call with me, or we can have a quick chat. If it looks like it's something that's going to go well and go on, we can have a bit of a longer chat, but do get in contact, because we can really help you guys get the most out of your Google Workspace and your IT, because we look after all of that stuff.